If anything, would you have done so many differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? There is not a thing that comes to mind, in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact on the work that we have done. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street. The point about progress is to have the ability to have a vision and a belief in some space in what can be unburdened by what has been.
It doesn't look like Vice President Kamala Harris's election campaign is going very well. Come on, man. No joke, you think that I'm kidding. I'm not. I think it is going great. Her campaign is taking all the heat away from me, and every time she does a speech or gives an interview, she makes me look like a genius. But what about our deal with the funding of the war? It was a great gig while it lasted, and I appreciate the job that you gave my son Hunter. But I think that people are starting to wise up, so I think we need to pack it in. Well, what am I going to do if I lose the funding from the United States? Come on, man, it was a good gig. You got rich, my family and I got rich, but it is time to shut it down. You could always go back to doing the comedy circuit.
Well, how is our campaign looking? I am almost afraid to ask.
It is not looking good. I think we should have used the shock collar. She is still getting off the teleprompter, and every time she does an interview, the orange man goes up in the polls. We would have done better if we just kept her in the basement, like we did with Joe Biden.
Well, do you have any other ideas, since what we are doing does not seem to be working?
Well, I did update my resume and I have gotten in touch with my headhunter for a new job.
That wasn't helpful, but maybe we can do some damage control by putting her in the basement. How are we doing with our media campaign? Are we gaining any ground?
The Washington Post and the Los Angeles Times are not endorsing either party in this election. She really bombed on The View and managed to offend any evangelistic Christians that might have been leaning her way. If she says an unburdened by what has been thing again, or mentions that she grew up in a middle-class neighborhood, I think I am going to slit my wrist, but otherwise, things are going okay.
Well, how are we doing with the campaign ads?
Well, the White Dudes for Harris ad campaign bombed, and they are human enough, thoroughly insulted the rural population. Like, does anyone actually eat carburetors for breakfast? I don't even think they make them anymore, and what do picking your own donuts have to do with anything? I think that we would have had better luck sticking with Joe Biden.
Well, do you have any ideas on what we can do for damage control?
I think that our best option is to stick her in the basement to cut our losses in the polls and hope for a good voter turnout from the cemeteries and our imported voter population.
Sounds like the basement might be a viable option, and I am getting my resume ready. I hear that CNN is still doing diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring.